We Dig Community tells the stories of the people and organizations behind Community Bucket's service-made social mission. We hope you enjoyed this episode and, of course, subscribe to listen to future shows and stay part of the community.
All right, everybody, welcome. We are live. Good morning.
Hello. Good morning, Robby.
Hey, good morning, y'all.
Good to see you. We're glad you're here early, bright and early this morning with us.
Yeah, that sun came up and had to get out of bed.
Well, we are thrilled to have you, Robby. So we'll let you do, you could tell your story and your background the best. You are obviously the park ranger at Arabia Mountain. And I think that's where we first connected, not through Concrete Jungle, but first connected through Arabia Mountain. And we are thrilled to have you. You, I will tell you, are one of our favorite nonprofit characters, project leads that we work with in Atlanta. I say character in a good way, in an endearing. And we're just really excited to talk to you today and hear what you're up to and go from there. So thank you for joining.
Yeah, great to be here.
Yeah, so just to start, we'd love if you could tell us and our listeners just, first of all, how you became a park ranger, what that entails, and anything that led you up to that point, what you were doing before.
Yeah, so, the idea of being a park ranger wasn't even a goal or a target. It kind of happened. And I get the question a lot because people are like, wow, park ranger. There's no official park ranger academy or anything like that. There's a lot of great ways to get to it. I found it through, education and just loving the planet. And, it kind of brings together like all of my skill sets, which is, someone who cares about the environment, a steward, and, I'm an ecologist. And then, the part that we really connect on is the community, the people, and, sharing this amazing place with the world is like probably the greatest joy for me. And so, being at Arabia Mountain puts me in a great position to meet folks at Community Bucket and to do the work together. So it's really awesome.
That's great. And did you, before you were a ranger, you worked at Trees Atlanta, correct?
That's right.
Okay.
Yep. And Trees Atlanta was probably the best thing that happened to me when I moved to Atlanta. Imagine I moved to Atlanta sight unseen, by the way. And so if you think about it, what's the best way to like learn about the city? Work or volunteer with Trees Atlanta. You get to go to all the different neighborhoods, you meet the neighborhood leaders, you all go out for pizza afterwards and have a few beers. So it's the best. And so I was just driving a truck through the city. Man, I got to know the city like so well and neighborhoods. And that's what I really love about Atlanta so much.
That's awesome. And where did you come from before Atlanta?
I grew up in South Florida from Miami. I did a small stint in the Pacific Northwest in Bellingham, Washington, and then back to South Florida, really connected to the Everglades. So that's where I started my career doing Everglades ecology and environmental education.
Great. And you are, I remember when I first met you, somebody referred to you as the Johnny Appleseed of Atlanta. I don't remember who that was, but you obviously are a tree enthusiast and more specifically a fruit tree enthusiast. Is that correct?
I had a feeling we might talk about trees at some point. And yeah, I mean, it all really started with trees and, at least in Atlanta, Trees Atlanta. And I started planting it back in Florida, actually. I recently got to visit like the oldest tree I planted. I think I know where it is. I don't know how I got into it. It just started really, I guess, with Trees Atlanta. I got to acknowledge them. And after I left them, I really got more into the fruit tree world. And that's what I've been doing for, 10 years plus now is working with communities, creating community orchards, berry picking spots, and working with groups like Concrete Jungle that we mentioned to serve the community with, fruit and trees. And it's a great thing to do in Atlanta. We're set up for it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, with Atlanta, you mentioned it a lot, like, especially since you've been mentioning a lot of nonprofits. Sounds like you're very connected in the nonprofit scene. You've obviously got your start there. How did you become so Atlanta? Did you just are so connected? Did you just dive in? Like, what did that look like? Because you've been here for a while now. How did that work for you?
You know, I think it was a combination of diving in, but also so importantly, like just listening and supporting. And so there was already like really great things happening. And I found the people and the places that just like resonated with me the most, and definitely did a lot of volunteering. And volunteering, does turn into stuff. And for me, it led me to, different jobs, different board positions, different roles and, working with the community. But yeah, just really being open to what was here in the city and seeking it out. And again, like really staying grassroots and supporting those existing community leaders is what I continue to do.
No, it sounds like that's an excellent path to move forward on. And, from the beginning, that's awesome. Can you tell me a little bit about, obviously you've been in Atlanta for a while. What is one of the things that you love living about here, working here? Like, can you kind of shed some light on the scene that you've been in and why you love it?
I mean, like my short little elevator spiel for Atlanta is, there's, this beautiful forest. There's so much culture, music, things to do. There's like something for everyone, underground shit, mainstream. So, and it's just a really fun place. And I like just the neighborhood feel of everything. And there's a strong community here. And I like living here and being a part of that. And I can't forget festival season. I think festival season definitely helps to define Atlanta and who we are as creating a sense of place and how we express ourselves and what it means to be here. So, yeah.
That's awesome. So, Robby, on the topic of festivals, let's talk about this Serviceberry Fest that we have coming up in early June, right? June 3rd is the date.
That's right.
Yeah. Give us the more elevator pitch or more about it. How'd that come about?
I'm going to go with the more and even take it way back.
Yeah.
Because it really starts with a tree once again. And so while I was at Trees Atlanta, and when I moved here, I didn't know anything about the Piedmont forest. I remember at my job interview, they asked me to like list all the trees I could on the spot. And I kept on saying all the Florida ones, and they were like, come north a little bit. But I didn't know about the serviceberry tree. It's a small native understory tree. It's a 3-season tree, so it has a beautiful flower in the spring. It happens about when the dogwoods do. It's kind of a white, dainty flower. And then in the summer, during June, that's why they call it Juneberry. There's this beautiful little purple fruit. We'll talk more about that in a second. And then the show's not over, because in the fall time, there's like super awesome, like dynamite fall color. So it really gets to show off. And I got really interested in the fruit so much that started going harvesting and collecting and working with Concrete Jungle. And I'm a forager on my own as well. And, started introducing it to the culinary world. And, it's starting to appear on menus, and people are really interested in it. And it's a superfood, like very high in antioxidants. So you have, beautiful tree, beautifies the neighborhood. It's really healthy. It's good for you. You can like make your own products. It's like medicinal. So like, that's something I want to celebrate. And literally it took me 10 years to like, let's do a festival. And so this is the first year with Serviceberry Fest ATL, and I'm bringing together a bunch of friends and family to celebrate this delicious fruit. We're going to have chefs and mixologists making food and cocktails, and it's going to be at the East Atlanta Farmers Market, which is on Thursday, June 3rd. I'm sorry, July 3rd. No?
June 3rd.
Yeah,
right?
June 3rd. Yeah. And that's already like a great event in itself. So we're building upon that, celebrating local food, and I'm just really looking forward to it. And the exciting parts for me is like, it's not just the festival, but like, why are we doing it and what does it stand for? And so we are having several service components. The first one is going to be working with you guys, Community Bucket, on the Sunday. And so we're going to have a yoga session and a service project at Arabian Mountain. where we're going to do some trail work. We're probably going to take care of some serviceberry trees that are there that need some mulching, I think. And then we're also going to bring in a fantastic lunch from my friends at Buena Gente Cuban Bakery, and then we'll have serviceberry tea as well. And then later in the fall, we're going to do a big serviceberry tree planting with the proceeds from the festival. So we'll create an orchard somewhere at a school or a park, and some community green space just to keep the serviceberries flowing so more people can pick in the future. So that's what it's about. It's sustainability, it's celebration, and for me, it's like kind of like the first thing I'm doing coming out of the shell a little bit, post pandemic. We're still in it, no doubt, but I'm excited that we can do this in a safe and careful way. And we got community farmers markets doing a lot of support for hand washing and spacing everyone out. So I'm just excited to like do something that's going to engage a lot of people.
It's amazing. I'm so glad that we're able to work with you all on this. And we've obviously done a number of great days over the years out at Arabia Mountain. We've never officially had a yoga and meditation session to start the day, although you always do a great job of grounding volunteers and really helping everybody connect to that beautiful nature while we're out there. So this is great. I will also say, if it weren't for you, and I grew up in Atlanta, I would not know what a serviceberry tree was. And I think I could probably maybe speak for a lot of people that not many people. So it's cool. And that's, as you know, there's all this fruit growing around the city and fruit trees. I was going to ask you too, do you have a sense, Robby, is it unique to Atlanta how much fruit is growing that either goes unpicked or picked by good folks like you and Concrete Jungle and the rest? But is that something that I always assumed that is unique to Atlanta? But do you know of other big cities that have so much fruit growing around?
I think this is happening all over the country.
Yeah.
There's certain fertile crescents, for example, that are just part of my answer is like, Jesse, like it's the American South. That's why we have a great growing season. This place is very rich agriculturally, so you can go a lot of places, and whether it's either planted or wild, there's wild food source. There's food everywhere, and again, I think that's the exciting story that Concrete Jungle can tell so well. And anyone who's connected to the land, who's growing and who's foraging, when you pay attention, we talk about the fruit goggles, is when you pay attention and you see the food in the landscape, it's very surprising how much is there. And I'm glad to see a return to working with the land with a lot of people, whether it be returning to indigenous and ancestral practices or just getting interested in agriculture and permaculture. More people are growing herbs on their front balcony. And so I think that's really encouraging right now.
Yeah. So to that point, is there anything, for some people who aren't immersed in this space or aren't maybe they don't have their fruit goggles yet, so they could learn from somebody like you, but it could be maybe a little intimidating for some people to know, like, they want to do something, they want to help, they want to go out and explore the nature at Arabia Mountain, but don't know how. What are a couple of small things or tips that you would give people who are maybe just starting out on their living off the land or even getting more connected to nature journey, that easy ways to get started?
Think about it like having a relationship. You're going to form a relationship with the world. Spend time with her, get to know her, pay attention, listen, watch, touch, feel. At the same time, create relationships with other people that are plant people. So basically find your plant friends and go and hang out with them. There's plant walks, there's groups doing tours, there's information and research you can do on your own. But I think doing it well is finding a mentor or someone to go and hang out with. And there's a lot of groups in Atlanta doing it. And I know there's groups all over the country, and there's plant people everywhere. You just got to find them.
Love it. I'm like inspired. I need to go find some plant people. I am not one. I'm like sad to admit I'm like very inspired by you right now. And I'm sad to admit that that is not me. So thank you for sharing that. I hope people actually listen. That's actually a good piece of advice. And of course, I hate to say that we're nearing the end. We could probably talk about trees and fruit and the wonderful Mother Earth for a long time. But we do want to try and wrap up with one quick question. And I think we may know the answer because we know you do love trees. But of course, this podcast is called We Dig Community. So could you share, what do you dig? What is something, maybe in addition, that you dig?
We haven't talked about this at all, but I dig music. I'm a drummer. I've been playing drums for over 20 years. And so I'm a really big jazz head. R&B, jazz, reggae, funk. That's kind of like my sweet spot. Jazz fusion. I know like the music of the 60s and 70s better than anything else. So yeah, that's something I really dig.
That's awesome. Well, shucks, I feel like there's more to talk about, and we could probably talk about jazz all day, but we appreciate you joining us. We're excited to hopefully see you soon at the Serviceberry Festival, and we will share those links soon. But until next time, Robby, we appreciate it, and we will see you out in the mountain and in the park soon.
See you outside, y'all. Thanks so much.
See you.